Hi everyone, my name is Abby and today we're going to be talking about a condition called PoTS. Now the reason I'm talking about this condition is because I actually have PoTS. I have PoTS related to my primary condition, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and today I'm going to tell you all about it. So what is PoTS? Stands for Postural Orthostatic Tachycardia syndrome, and if you're really confused about all those words, postural relates to whether you're stood up, lying down or sitting. Orthostatic or orthostatic hypertension is your blood pressure is having low blood pressure. Tachycardia is your heart rate and having a really high heart rate. So that's what PoTS is. It is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. Now you may be thinking that sounds really confusing, and why would someone get that? There are a couple of causes for PoTS. Some of them are unknown and some of them are known. PoTS can come on gradually over time, or it can come on really suddenly. Sometimes you will develop PoTS and it'll go away. Sometimes people have it for their whole life. Some of the most common causes for PoTS is EDS, which is why I have it. Pregnancy, viral illness, diabetes, cancer, and also chronic fatigue syndrome can cause PoTS. What are the symptoms? Symptoms for PoTS, and the ones that I experience most regularly, are dizziness and lightheadedness, which means that when I stand up from a sitting or lying position to standing, I get really dizzy and lightheaded. It can really affect your thinking, concentration, and memory, so it can be hard to concentrate on like reading a book. You can feel like your heart is beating in your chest, is something I also feel, which is it's quite strange because you just feel like your heart is going boom, 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 like really quickly. So you can sweat a lot and shake a lot when you're in a PoTS episode. Fatigue, I obviously have chronic fatigue anyway, so I don't know whether my fatigue is related to my PoTS or my chronic fatigue, but after you've had a PoTS episode you can feel really tired and really weak. PoTS can cause really bad headaches, it can cause chest pain, and it can cause you to feel really, really sick and nauseous. So PoTS can cause a lot of different symptoms, it just depends on what ones it causes you. If you do have PoTS, you will understand sometimes have symptoms and sometimes have none, and sometimes it can be really bad. So how do you get diagnosed with PoTS? For me, getting diagnosed with PoTS meant to going to a cardiologist. So a cardiologist is a doctor of the heart, and they look at the heart function and how that works. So normally they'll do a physical exam, and then they may need to do a few extra tests. Things like active stand test, which is when they take your blood pressure sitting, standing after a minute, standing after 3 minutes, and standing after 10 minutes. They may also then do an ECG, which is a test of your heart's electrical activity to see the rhythm and see if you have any arrhythmias. They may also do an echocardiogram, which is a ultrasound of your heart, which makes sure that there is nothing else abnormal going on. I also then had a 24-hour heart monitor, where a monitor stuck to my chest to measure my heart rhythm over 24 hours, and I had to record every time I had a PoTS episode, and then they could see the irregularities. One of the most common tests for PoTS is a tilt table test. Now what a tilt table test does is it's a specially designed bed that you get strapped to, and they tilt, you go from lying to upright, and they measure your heart rate, and if you do have PoTS they can pretty quickly see your heart rate change. Now, if you get diagnosed with PoTS, how can it be treated? So one of the main pieces of advice I got when I was diagnosed with PoTS is take gravity out of it. So you can counteract falling or fainting by taking gravity out of the situation when you feel your symptoms first come on. Possibly you could be lying down and raising your legs. Sitting down if you're standing up, don't stand up for long periods of time. Other things that can help is being really well hydrated. Obviously for me that's difficult because I have gastrointestinal issues, so I can't take on a lot of liquid or food. But if you can drink a lot of water, that's something that's really helpful. Making sure you do lots of activity that gets your heart rate higher, because that can help improve symptoms. Don't sleep fully flat, sleep with your head elevated. You can also wear things like compression clothing, so compression sock, compression trousers, compression leggings, which can help make sure the blood is all in your upper body instead of in your extremities. When you stand up very slowly. So instead of just going from lying down straight to standing up, go from lying down to propped up to sitting on the edge of the bed to standing, and that just helps your heart rate adjust a bit slower. Add more salt to your diet. Now obviously this is not advisable if you have high blood pressure, because that can make your blood pressure go even high, but most people with PoTS have low blood pressure, and adding salt means that blood pressure rises, which can stabilise it. Now there are also medicines that you can take. You can take things like beta blockers. You can take things which narrow the blood vessels, which means that the blood is more in your heart and in your brain. You can also take things that help you retain salt in your body, and you can also take things that alter how your nervous system works. There's lots of different ways, but I'm not a doctor, speak to your cardiologist. So that is most things about PoTS. People have for lots of different reasons. The reason I have it is because of EDS. And if you have any questions about PoTS, or you have PoTS below and you want to share some tips, share them in the comments below. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, and I will see you all guys next time. Goodbye.